And we are live. Hello, everyone. It is so good to see you guys tonight. So, hello, hello, hello. So, here's the thing, the turkey's thawing, the pies are waiting, and your kitchen just might be whispering, are we ready? Now, we know actually the turkey's not really thawing because we got another week to go, but we want to act like Thanksgiving is going to be in a few days because it will be here before you know it. So the question is, are you ready for the holiday? Leona, are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready to get it going.
I
And
tell you what, not only am I ready to get it going, I'm probably over it because we had our Thanksgiving dinner already. And I have to remind myself, oh, the whole country hasn't had Thanksgiving yet. We just had ours. And I must say, it was one of the best Thanksgivings I've had in a very long time. It was, and
oh,
I think that, like when you lose your dad and then you lose your mom and then you lose another cousin, it takes you a while to just like get back in sync that you don't like actively miss that person sitting at the table. And I think this Thanksgiving we managed to do that. It
yes,
was
yeah.
just nice. So I feel like well, I've had it already, and then I've been working on my Thanksgiving leftover videos. So it's like,
I
okay,
know, I know. That was so nice having the time to work on those leftovers. And, it really pulled the creative side of me out of where I had to think
boom.
what I was going to do with them. And it was fun. It turned out fun.
Well, it really did because it pressed me to think about using Thanksgiving leftovers differently. And after I talked to you, I got some ideas as well because I was like, oh, well, I thought about that. So I think you guys will be very pleased with what we have to share with you in regards to Thanksgiving leftovers. So check out our video on Saturday. We'll
Mhm.
be uploading that video Saturday at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Saturday at 2 o'clock, we'll be having our What to Do with Thanksgiving Leftovers video so you can plan ahead. So
Absolutely.
from prepping your bird to every delicious little leftover, we got some answers for you tonight. So we are hopefully you've got questions, and we have some answers for some of the questions people have already posed. And we're going to get it started as soon as I say hello to a few people. And I know I don't usually start saying hello this early, but I just feel like that tonight. So let's
All
see.
right.
And don't forget to share your story.
Absolutely.
So we're
Absolutely.
going to go with there's Tamika. Hello, Tamika. And thank you for jumping on my live stream the other day. Oh, and speaking of, I did a live stream yesterday, I think it was, and I was doing Happy Meal. I was sharing Happy Meal,
Mhm.
and then I was also vacuum sealing rice. And I just kind of wanted some company while I did that. It's like when your girlfriend comes over and she sits down while you're washing dishes, chat. So it was like that. And some really exciting news, which I did share with you, was that when I was going to be vacuum sealing the rice, and I thought, well, let me just make sure I haven't forgotten anything, that I'm still on point. So I just kind of Googled, can you vacuum seal rice, to see what they would tell me. And not only did they give me an answer, but also when I got to looking at it, I thought, wait a minute. The video that they showed in the post was my video. So let me see if
Yeah,
I can find it, because I took a picture of the screen. I did took a screenshot. I just had to take a screenshot. It was just like, oh,
absolutely.
so now I don't see it. I know I took a screenshot, but I don't know where it is.
You are so funny.
But I did. So I took a screenshot. It was like I thought, oh my goodness. So I snapped the screenshot so that I could like have the picture of like Google talking about something, and then the picture of my video below that. I'm like, oh my God, it's giving me authority. So anyway, let me, Denise. So what was his name last week? The guy that gets real excited.
Oh, on our oh,
Yes.
that's terrible. I can't think of
Is
him
it
today.
Dave?
Dave. Yes,
Like
it's
you said,
Dave.
calm down, Dave.
Calm
Okay,
down,
Denise.
Dave.
Calm down, Denise. I was so excited. So anyway, Tamika, thank you for jumping on. But one of the comments that I had made was I was sharing some gifts that I had gotten,
Mhm.
and how Happy Meal and stuff. And so, wise, and I had mentioned that one of my YouTube mentors had said, you really should do a gift guide, a video gift guide for your audience. He was telling that to our group, and I'm like, I just don't feel like, like right doing that. And Linda Jacobs, Wise Woman Lola, said, she said, I think y'all should do it. You and Miss Leona both, y'all should do a gift guide, because she says, whereas I have everything, I still buy gifts for family members. So probably we should do a gift guide, but we can talk about that later.
Sounds good. Yeah.
But I thought, well, let me just mention that. So hi, Tamika. She was on there.
Yeah. I
And
saw
there's
that.
Hazel and C. Pollard. She jumped on yesterday too. And then Terry, and then Deb Johnson, and another Deb Kikwan,
Oh,
and there's Judy, and there's Tutu. So thank you guys for joining us. And then Antoinette Williams is just saying hello, Miss Denise and Miss Leona.
now let me jump right in. Antoinette, I just saw your note today, so I'll respond to that this evening. I'll let her know that so she knows I saw it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And here's Ann Allen. Thank you so much for joining us today. We know it's late for you, so we know that when you jump on, we appreciate it. And then Kim says it's been a great Thanksgiving series. You guys are going to love Kim
Oh,
up, which is going to be Saturday when we do our Thanksgiving leftovers. Because like I said, I'm about tired of Thanksgiving.
yes, we have done just about everything with Thanksgiving except turn it loose.
That's right. And so there's left in 210, and then we've got Joy Love Food Reviews. Hey there.
Oh,
Now, this is a new person for us.
yes,
So I
yes.
think Left in 210 is new, and then Joy Love is new. So people, our community, you guys, welcome Joy, and also welcome Left to our platform so that they can feel right at home.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so Kim wants to know, what tool did you use to chop your celery and onions so fine for your dressing? So go.
Yes, I used a mandolin, and I have a mandolin that I've had for a long time, and it's the same one that everyone, whenever I'm using it, everybody goes, "You're going to cut your finger," but thank goodness I have not. But it is a mandolin that I use, and I might show that during our Christmas gift guide. It's a good one,
Well,
and
and you know what, Leona?
mhm.
My husband has bought me 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 different the little chop things that you like
Mhm.
see on TV. You can they
Yes,
can do
I
all kind
got
of things.
that.
And I've yet to figure out how to use them. But I saw you using your mandolin one day, and I thought,
Mhm.
maybe I should learn how to do this, because I don't mind chopping carrots and chopping celery. Chopping
Mhm.
onions though can be a little bit much, but maybe I should get those things out. And I guess, like you said, the key is that you learn how to use it. So, question number one was, how did you chop your celery and onions? And you used a mandolin.
A
So that's something you
mandolin.
probably all should have. Do you
Yeah.
have that linked in your description box?
No, because the one I purchased, I got from Williams Sonoma, and I got that years ago. And but I will look and see if I can find one similar to it,
Okay.
because I did try to find a second one, and it wasn't the same. So,
Okay.
not to get an inexpensive one. Make sure you get a really good one if you're going to get one.
Oh, and look, here's Lola. Hey, hey, hey. Linda, so good to have you here. We've been missing you the past couple weeks, and I know you've been busy, but we did get your email, and we are talking about that email. So we just had to get through Thanksgiving. And so we have AW saved. So thank you that you're here with us as well. So I think the AW means that AW is saved. Once I saw the Bible verse there, I was
Yes.
thinking at first that saved was the last name, but I get it now. And let's see. So now you can see the comments as well. So you saw
I
the
can. I
reply to you.
can.
Okay. And let's see. Kim says, thank you, Miss Leona. She's going to use her mandolin this year to chop her veggies for her dressing.
Oh,
And
that's
Kim,
good.
I'm going to get mine out too, because I've got, like,
Yes.
I got a couple of them in the cabinet, and then donated a couple.
Yeah. I like them, and I use it. I know weekly. I really do.
Okay, I'm going to get mine out. Is that how you prepare your like your vegetables that your onions and celery and carrots that you
Mm-hmm.
put in the fridge
Mm-hmm.
and just pull them out and be ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It sure is. Sure
Okay.
is.
So here's Tiffany. Glad to catch this live. We're getting closer. Yes, we are.
Yes, yes, yes.
And then just a random American kelp. I'm not sure what
Aw.
he means by kelp. Kelp
Huh.
is some kind of a seaweed, and
It
I'm not
is.
using that. So
All right. You'll have to let us know what that meant.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so Left says, thank you very much for
Oh,
welcoming him.
okay.
I had to think for a second. Now, Left, you have to realize I'm a woman of a certain age. So
I
as
know.
my granddaughter sometimes says, Grandma, you're old. So I'm not as cool as others. So I had to think for a second. I thought, oh, thank you very much. So I feel
Less
kind of
than
old, but I
20.
knew what that meant.
Yes. Yes. We don't speak in letters. That's what I tell the kids.
I had to think. I thought, oh yeah, thank you very much. So I got you. So okay, so we have C. Pollard, and I think C. Pollard's name isn't it Carol? Carol Pollard, or am
Or
I
is it Cynthia?
Cynthia Pollard? You're gonna have to tell us your name again because I have forgotten.
Yes,
It's
I
been a week,
know.
I've forgotten. But anyway,
Cynthia, please say.
what is that yeast measuring spoon? You have a
It
yeast
is
measuring
it's a
spoon?
yeast measuring spoon that measures exactly
Yeah.
two and a half teaspoons of yeast, and it's a nice little sterling silver or stainless steel spoon,
Mhm.
and it just pop got your measurement instead of having to do all the little dips and the measures and all of that. Does it all.
Is that what you used when you made the Parker House roses last time?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize that. So
Uh-huh.
okay, so I think is it C. Pollard? Thank you for letting me know that. Let me just write that down as something else that I need to pick up
Well,
because I
maybe
do need
Santa
to
Claus will bring it to you. Put it on your gift list.
okay, I'll
Your
put it on
wish
my gift list.
list.
So a yeast spoon. I'll put that on
Indeed.
my gift list. So just to tell you guys a little bit, so some of you already know a little bit about these Parker House rolls. So when I made my rolls last week, and if you saw my video, you saw you saw the rolls on video. But I put in the yeast, and maybe I put in too much because when I had them puppies rising the first time, I had them sitting on the stove in a corner, and maybe there was something in the oven. I don't know, and
Mm-hmm.
that could have warmed it up a little bit
I
more. But
think
because it
so.
was like, babe, is it supposed to be doing this? I turned
Mm-hmm.
around, and there is dough bubbling out of over the bowl and down the side of the bowl. I'm like, oh, you would have thought it was sourdough starter. So I've had some interesting experiences with dough.
Yes, when you're dealing with dough, it's always an adventure. You never
Mhm.
know. But you know what I did realize when I made them again last week, and they came out perfectly. And in fact, they were better than the ones I made on the original video. They were
Mhm.
lighter, they were fluffier, and when I touched them, I mean, they were like air. And I took one to the big guy, and he said, I didn't think they could get any better, but they did. I don't know. I don't know. It was just a good day for yeast. And but it was out of the same jar, same amount, didn't change anything with the recipe. But what I didn't do, I did not put it in the refrigerator. And
Aha.
so I just went straight. But the good thing is that the thing about putting it in the refrigerator is that it gives you a chance to kind of slow down the process. And so if you need to run out or you need to do something else, you can do that. But you do have to bring it out in time enough for it to really warm up well. And then they will start to do their rise. So I
So
know
now let
they'll
me
come
interrupt you for a second because my sister got after me. She said, "You interrupt Mr. Young too much." So I thought I'm going to ask. So now, so the first time we let it rise,
out.
after
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
fold them and make the little
That's in the
pillows,
bowl.
and then we let them rise.
Hmm.
Then instead of put them in the refrigerator, they rise for about another hour, and then we can go ahead and bake them.
What you do after the first rise, then you take them out, work them out on your board, cut them into the rolls, get them into the pans, and let them rise again.
Uh-huh.
And you want them to double,
Oh,
and then they're
okay.
ready to go in the oven.
Okay. Okay.
So you can really do it all in one day, get it done. And typically, I try to do that first thing in the morning so they have plenty of time to get nice and puffy. And then cook them about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they are gorgeous.
And dinner is at what, 4?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so they're cool. So you put them on the table. Do
Mm-hmm.
you warm them up again, or you just put
I
them on the
do.
table like
I
they are?
do. I usually just cover them with, I take them out because most of the time I do it in my cast iron. So I take them out of the cast iron and put them into aluminum foil
Mm-hmm.
and cover them and slip them in, put a little butter on them, slip them in for just long enough for them to
It's
get
all
warm.
wrapped up in aluminum foil.
Hmm. And let them warm for about 10 minutes, 10, and just don't forget them that they're in there. But, and don't let them, sometimes we like to let them warm up during dinner,
Mm-hmm.
to stay warm. Don't keep them in the oven because then they'll get hard on the
Oh,
bottom and you don't
okay.
want that to happen. So just take them out. And if somebody just wants a roll and they want it warm, they can put it in the microwave and nuke it for 10 seconds and bam, it's just like it just came out of the oven.
Okay, so now you guys heard it. You don't want your rolls coming out like mine. Because like I said, my brother was like, what is this? So anyway, so we're going to go on. So we got the question about the yeast measuring spoon. So thank you for that. And then C. Pollard, remind us of what your name is because I forgot.
Let's see.
So Ursula's here. Hey, thank you for joining us. She likes watching our videos. Can
Aww.
you guys believe we actually just met each other on YouTube and we have become such good friends?
I know. It's Cinta. Her name is Cinta. C.
Cinta.
Pollard is Cinta.
Cinta. So I'm going to write that down.
Cynta.
Okay, Cinta. All right. So Tutu says she's scared of a mandolin. She used the slicing function of her food processor.
Okay.
I've not tried that.
You can. It will slice, and some of the food processors actually have the disc to make like larger sizes of shreds and chops. So you can do that. Absolutely.
Okay, let's see. So Donna J says she likes to pre-chop and freeze.
Me too.
Okay. So we've got Dolores. Hello. We've got Linda. She says if she doesn't make it with her live, she always watches the replay. You know what, Linda? Thank you. We appreciate it because you're one of our seasoned homemakers, just like we are. Like we are all women of certain ages. I'm not saying you're as old as I am or anything like that, but we all been through some things. We've all prepared some Thanksgiving meals and things like that. And we appreciate that you rock with us. We really do.
Absolutely. All of you.
Okay, let's see. Well, yes, we appreciate all of you. But sometimes, the information we give, we're really trying to help that home cook to learn some things. And you help provide good information as well. So I just want to say thank you for that. See, Jamella's back again. So, hey, Jamella. And
Things go down to Star Sky. Remember last night, Star Sky had shared with us, some issues that Star Sky was having, and we were talking. We prayed and did all that. Star Sky's a man.
Starsky.
Starsky.
Like Starsky and Hutch. Remember that?
Starsky and Hutch. Oh, I am so glad you are feeling better. And he said, it's good. He's feeling better, taking his medicine, and thanks for the prayers. That is wonderful. That's wonderful.
You're welcome. I'm glad you saw that. It might have been a minute before I got there. So I'm glad you're doing better, Starsky. Let's see. There was a question and I thought I passed it. But okay, if I missed it, let me know or put it back in again. So Linda says she's learning a lot. So that's good. We appreciate that. Oh, hey, my sister is here. Linda, she's saying good evening. So glad you joined us again tonight. Homemade rolls scrumptious. Yes, they are. And
here's the question.
Okay, I'm trying to get to. Oh,
right,
okay.
The next one.
Do you oil the pan before cooking? So I believe we're still talking about the dinner rolls.
Okay. And in the case of the dinner rolls, yes. You'll want to spray them. And, I probably almost always in a regular pan use parchment. But in my cast iron, I just oil the cast iron pan and put the rolls in. I don't worry about the parchment because my cast iron is well seasoned,
Mhm.
and so I don't have to do that.
I used my cast iron, and my one set of the rolls was a little dark on the bottom, like
Hmm.
some of the cast iron coating had came come off on the rolls, but it
Hmm.
could have been because I let them sit in the pan for 2 days.
Yes, I do believe that that's what it was.
Okay,
I do. I think that's it.
so hey,
We got Frank.
yeah, thank you, Frank, for joining us. We appreciate that. This is Florence's brother, I believe, and then
Hmm.
we've got Florence is here as well. Thank you. She changed the name of her show.
She,
It's
Florence, you
now
did.
called Florence Donald. It's not called Equip Institute anymore.
All right. All right.
Yes, we hope to be. Yes, I'm definitely going to do those roles differently. So yes, I am. So okay, those are the last of the questions that I see here. So now Donna J says that she used rectangle spoons for dry measuring and
Mhm.
rounded ones for wet.
Oh, now
Hmm.
that's good.
I
I've
don't think it
heard of
made a
people
difference.
doing that, and I guess that's kind of like where you measure your wet ingredients with a certain kind of with a regular measuring cup, the
Mhm.
glass measuring cups, whereas you use your dry measures for the dry, use the other cups for the dry measures. Okay, okay. Now I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about that because typically most of my wet measures are usually larger, and unless it's something like Worcester sauce or something like that, and I cheat because I usually use the little top and pop it in there.
Just up there.
But that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
And if you have Tupperware measuring cups, at least the old ones, and they have brought
Mhm.
back those vintage Tupperware
Yes, they have.
items, the Tupperware measuring cups, they have it kind of has like a little lip on it, and
Mhm.
one area is for the dry, and then the other one is for the wet. So, and I
Mhm.
don't recall which one is which just now, because I will admit I don't usually pay attention to it. I just go.
And
But
it's
I
in.
will pay attention to that next time. Okay, so now let's take a peek at the notes that we have, at the questions that we have in our notes. And one of the questions that a lot of people will ask is this: how much turkey should I buy per person? And
Mhm.
typically they will say plan 1.5 pounds per person and up to 2 pounds if you want to have leftovers. What do you say, Leona?
Well, I tend to err on the side of the 2 pounds
Mhm.
because I do like to have those leftovers, and we're able to, you're able to use them. Oh, geez, on into the winter, and so you definitely want to hold on to the bones, the carcass, everything of that turkey. But yeah, 2 pounds is usually what I do.
Okay. And then Donna just says she's talking about extracts and flavoring. So she was talking
Okay,
about the different measuring spoons and
okay,
everything.
okay.
Okay. So that makes sense.
That
So
does make sense.
I like to have those extras left over too. So this past Thanksgiving, which was like, like on that Sunday, I
Hmm.
had enough turkey left over for, my sisters came over for the day after Thanksgiving, and then we had dinner. And then my husband and I had leftovers another time. And then I had enough leftovers to make 4 meals, no, 3 meals for our Thanksgiving leftover video. But
Hmm.
I will sometimes have, like, maybe I'll prepare a ham to go with that Thanksgiving turkey. So do you think we still need as much?
I do. I do. And like I said, we're prepping for more than just Thanksgiving as we think about that. Yes, that's the main day,
Mhm.
but as we look down the road, we don't know what the winter is going to hold, and it is just so nice to be able to know. It's a comfort to know
Mhm.
that you've got food in your freezer.
Mhm.
And so divide it up into smaller portions so that you can pull those portions out,
Mhm.
use them immediately for whatever it is. So, we eat and we snack and we eat and we snack, but there's always enough left for leftovers.
And people will always drop by and say, "Do you have any food left over?" And they will come in, make a plate, and sit down and just chat, or come
Absolutely.
by and pick up a plate to take home.
You know what they come by and get? You got some of that dressing and gravy?
Mhm. Yeah. Or any sweet potato pie left? No.
No, that was gone yesterday.
So, what is the safest way to thaw a turkey? That's one of the questions that always comes up, and we
Mhm.
want to make sure that you young homemakers know that. And I'll let you answer that one.
Well, in the refrigerator.
Yes.
It's one of those things when you know that the Thanksgiving week is coming, and a part of our routine is to make sure that the refrigerator is clean and that you have eliminated any excess of whatever it is out of your refrigerator. So make space for the turkey in your refrigerator because
Yes.
it does need to stay in there until you are ready to either brine it, get it all cleaned up and make sure you take the innards out
Hmm.
and the neck out so that you can, use those if you choose. And certainly you want to be able to, it says, to at least thaw in the refrigerator for about, I typically give mine about 4 days.
Hmm.
And if you have a larger one, give it 5.
Right.
And it may still be just a tiny bit icy in the middle, but it's going to be enough that you can work with it and do what you need to do. Mhm.
And the other thing I want to point out is like, don't forget to take out those innards. So we
Mhm.
had a poll last week and we asked how many people had forgot to take those innards out. And you'd be surprised how many people said, me, that they
Mhm.
forgot that you had to reach in and take out whatever's inside. And when you take those innards out, put them either in a freezer bag or put them in a bowl and refrigerate them, because you
Absolutely.
want to keep those refrigerated until
Mhm.
you cook them. Don't leave them out on the counter too long. You want to keep them in the refrigerator. And as Miss Leona said, thaw that turkey in the fridge, and you're going to need at least 3 to 5 days to get it thawed out, depending upon how big it is. Now,
Yes.
here's another question: is this? I didn't get my turkey thawed out in time. So now how can I thaw it out? And I will admit I've been there. And what I have
Mhm.
done is I run water in my sink and I put
Mhm.
that turkey in that water, and it's
Mhm.
cold water, not warm water,
Nice, as cold as you can
as
get it.
cold as you can get it. And you
Mhm.
change the water every 30 minutes because you don't
Mhm.
want bacteria to build up in there. And
Nope.
a lot of times, sometimes for me, what will happen is the
Mhm.
outside will be thawed out, but right
Mhm.
there in the center
In the
is still
center. Mhm.
frozen. So what I will do is like I will take that turkey and turn it up like just like
Mhm.
this,
And run.
pull the legs apart as far as I
Mhm.
can and just run the water down inside,
Mhm.
and then take like a spurtle or something and kind of use around in there to
Mhm.
break up the ice so that I can get those innards out of there, because you've got to get those out. You cannot cook them with that in there.
No. And certainly, if you're going to brine your turkey, allow an extra day for that. So you've got days to thaw it, and then at least 24 hours to do if you're going to do a wet brine.
Mhm.
And even for me, if I'm going to do a dry brine, I typically give it an overnight dry brine in the refrigerator.
Mhm.
So remember,
That's
think
take time.
refrigerator, keep it
So
cold.
you just gave us almost a week to think about. So
Mhm.
if you think about that, when you bring that turkey home, you've got three
Mhm.
to five days to thaw it out, depending upon how many pounds the turkey is.
Mhm.
And then once you get it thawed out, if you're going to put it into a brine, that's
Mhm.
another 24 to 48 hours, depending
That's right.
on whether you want, how long you want to brine it, and if it's wet or dry or whatever. So you're looking at some time. So you
Yeah.
have to really put some thought into that calendar in regards to getting that turkey
That's
ready.
right. You really want to err. I'm thinking the Saturday before Thanksgiving
Mm-hmm.
is going to be your day. That Friday to Saturday, especially if you have a really big one, then
Mm.
Friday. But if it's kind of a 15 pounder, then you're going to want to think Saturday. So
Okay.
you have time to brine.
So Leona, what
Hmm.
temperature should the turkey reach? And I know you talked about this last
Mhm.
week, but just in case anybody missed it, I want to make sure they hear you say it again.
And this is something that is special, because I think everybody thinks if they put that thermometer in and it says 165 automatically, and they're poking it around, they get 165 and they think, oh, the turkey's done, only to find when they start to cut into the legs and the thighs and the places where there's bones that it's not done, that it's still a little pink around those bones. So for the breast, 165. But once you get to the thigh, the leg, that leg portion, it has to be at least 170 to 175. And I typically go to that 175 because you remember Miss Denise and I were talking about, you want to be able to kind of move that leg bone. You want to see it to easily move so that you know that it is done. You do not want your turkey to be on a nice table and you start to cut into it and that baby is pink
So now
because
I'm going to interrupt you and ask you
Mhm,
to back up and
mhm,
ask you to repeat that. I heard everything you said, but
mhm.
just in case somebody missed part of it
And
or
I'll type it in after we finish.
yeah,
The
in case
temperature,
somebody's taking notes,
yeah,
what's that temperature that we want for the breast and then the thigh? Because you described it beautifully.
165 for the breast because we want it to stay nice and moist.
Hmm.
But it's anywhere from 170 to 175 and air closer to 175 because you want to make sure that there is no pink anywhere within that leg thigh combination. You do not want any pink in your turkey whatsoever. And
Okay.
you should have at 175, you're going to have nice little movement in that leg.
Hmm.
So,
Okay. We got a question over here. So,
okay.
well, before I get there, Frank Jackson, where is he? Right there, I think. I had him up there. There he goes. Frank Jackson said turkey soup, and we had been talking about leftovers, and he was talking about one of the things that I guess he likes is turkey soup.
Uh-huh.
And
Yes.
then Cinta says, how many days do you all eat or keep leftovers? And that is really a very good question. And for the most part, 3 to 4 days is how much you can keep leftovers in the refrigerator. 3 to 4 days. And longer than that, you either need to freeze them or discard them.
That's right. Too much bacteria can build up very quickly.
Mhm. Okay. And then how to avoid a dry turkey. You already mentioned the brining, and that's one way to avoid that.
Mhm.
And the other thing is to let the turkey rest before you carve it. Let it rest
Absolutely.
at least 30 minutes before you carve it so that all the juices could just kind of solidify and hang out in all the spaces in the meat. But if you try carving it right away, the juices are just going to kind of run out.
Yes.
Make sure you let it rest for just a bit. Okay, so let's see. So we answered that one. How many days to keep Thanksgiving leftovers? And like Miss Leona said, bacteria can build up in there, so you don't
Mhm.
want to let them sit in there too long.
That's
And
true.
then, so turkey soup was one of the things that you can make with your leftovers. And
Mhm.
then Dolores is talking about turkey pot pie, and we have both made that. And
Absolutely.
so check us out on Saturday. We might have some more information for you on
Mhm.
that. And then Lynn says, I never thought about the measuring spoons that way. That's great information. I will
Oh.
admit, I didn't either. So let's see. Okay. We've got Renee saying hello.
Hey, Renee.
Nitty saying hello. She made it. Nitty,
Yay.
I have a question for you. I sent an order out for a Nitty Tavern or a Nitty something. And then I thought, wait, is that Nitty Tea? I wasn't sure. So I didn't indicate that on the note. But let me know, was that you? Oh, turkey poppies. What are turkey poppies?
Is that like a turkey popover?
Oh, I
Oh,
would think so.
okay.
Okay. Please don't wash the turkey with soap. No, I don't know. I can't imagine who would do that. But actually, the USDA does not recommend washing the turkey or the chicken. It
Mm-mm.
says unwrap it. You
Mhm.
can go ahead and just roast it, cook it the way it comes out. Now, I will admit I am old school. I
Mhm.
will rinse the turkey,
Mhm.
especially after I've struggled to get those innards and everything out, and
Mhm.
I've been, wrestling with it. I will rinse it, but I will turn the water on very, very slowly so I'm not
Mhm.
splashing water everywhere. And then
Mhm.
once I'm done, I get the turkey either into the brine or into the oven. I will scrub the entire counter down, including the faucets, the sink, everything with some kind of a Clorox or disinfectant preparation.
Mhm.
That's what I do. However, best practice is that you don't rinse or wash the bird. Miss Leona, what do you say?
Well, I'm with you. Typically, they say don't. But
Mhm.
now I have seen, and I know my mom used to sprinkle hers with baking soda
Oh, yeah.
and just kind of rinse it down, sprinkle baking soda all over. She'd rub it and then, rinse that off. And I guess it's what you're used to. And I still see people doing that. And
Mm.
so, some people just want to make sure that it's clean.
Yes.
And but not with soap.
Yeah,
Never,
definitely not with soap. And
never
the
soap.
other thing is that they talk the way they used to process foods.
Hmm.
Well, they're a little bit more particular about that now. So back, I guess in the day, and I'm not sure when in the day that was, there
Hmm.
might have been lots of bits of bone and
Right,
all
right.
kind of stuff
Hmm.
left on the meat. So we don't quite have that problem.
No.
So best practice is that you don't rinse it and definitely don't wash it with soap. You just, you can unwrap it,
Hmm.
remove the innards, and use it as is. And if you're looking at any of those videos, like on Martha Stewart, on
Hmm.
Butterball, you don't see them washing that bird or
Nope,
rinsing it at
nope,
all.
not at all.
So let's see. Oh, that's you. Okay, so you put that in there. Thank
Hmm.
you. Thank you. So you guys see that, Miss Leona, put it in there for you. Okay. And then this one,
I don't know why it popped up
oh,
twice.
popped up twice.
Anyway.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Linda rather says it's a good time to use your food saver to package up and freeze leftover turkey.
Hmm.
That is absolutely right. And I tell you, last year, Aldi's had those turkeys marked down. Shoot, they had them down to 77 cents a pound, which was a big deal last year. They starting out at 77 cents a pound this
That's
year.
right. That's
But I
right.
went and I picked up one and I just cut it all up and froze it and
Hmm.
put it in the freezer. And I cut it up into enough um, portions for like six
Hmm.
or seven different meals. So,
Hmm.
yes, Linda, we agree. Use that food saver to package up and freeze the leftover turkey
Absolutely.
so that you can just, if you need, most of the recipes require either 2 cups or 3 cups of diced turkey or shredded,
Hmm.
however you're going to use it. So you can
Hmm.
freeze it in those portions. And I know, Leona, you're good at portioning things out.
Portioning it out. No, absolutely. And the quart size bags, which I saw you last night, the bags that you were using seemed to be about quart size, weren't they?
Mhm.
Yeah. And which is a great size, to be able to open and to use. So I usually put in at least 4 cups
Mhm.
in each of those bags. And that way, however much, because, sometimes, especially like the turkey soup, you may look at it, 2 cups and that turkey soup's not going to be enough. So
Mhm.
you'll find you'll need extra. So you don't want to have to wait and thaw and do all that. So when you pull it out, you've got enough in your bag. So about anywhere from 3 to 4 cups in each of your bags.
I have to agree with that too, because when I was making one of the meals, which will shall remain unnamed until you see it on Saturday, it called for 3 cups of diced or shredded turkey. And
Hmm.
after I got the meal made and we had it for dinner tonight, and it was amazing, I was
Hmm.
thinking I wouldn't have minded a little bit more turkey in there. So I could
Hmm.
have used 4 cups of
Mm-hmm.
turkey, maybe even 5 in there. Well, 4 cups. I could have
Mm-hmm.
used 4 cups in there. So I like that idea of portioning it out into 4 cup segments. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So Carla says, how important is it to basting the turkey?
Well, Carla, typically, I'm gonna be honest with you. I used to baste. I used to do a lot of basting because back in the day, that's just what you did. And at this point, I took Ina Gardner's idea of starting the turkey upside down, starting it on its breast. And that way the juices go to the breast because you're basting mainly because you know the breast is going to get dry.
Mhm.
And so when you do it with the breast turned down, then the breast is going to be very moist. And about halfway through cooking, you can turn it back up and it retains its moisture and it's nice and moist. So I have to admit that I don't anymore. Plus, using the turkey oven bags, when you use those, you don't have to baste at all. You
It's
don't have to baste.
self-basting.
It just takes care of it on its own.
Well, I have a turkey. I have an aroma baster, not baster, but an
Roasted.
aroma roasting pan that I got from a friend who shall remain unnamed. Well, actually, it was Miss Leona that gave it to me as a gift. But one of the things that the instructions for that says, it says, don't lift the lid to baste a lot of times because you let the heat out and it reduces the heat and it increases the cooking time. So because I'm old school and I just have to baste it, plus I have this little topping that I like to put on it, I
Uh-huh.
baste it maybe twice. So like I'll
Mhm,
wait an hour and then I will
mhm,
baste it with this particular solution that I have, as well as pull up some of the juices from the bottom and then
mhm.
baste it with that and then leave the lid on. And then maybe I'll baste it one more time before I take it out. But I'm not basting it every 30 minutes. And speaking of that, I looked at a video by Martha Stewart, and this one was a good 10 years old.
Mhm.
And she was showing someone how to roast a turkey, and they were stuffing that turkey with like stuffing, actually.
Oh.
And then they were going to baste it. And she said, she talked
Mhm,
about stuffing it and that
mhm,
you want to make sure you get your thermometer really far in there
mhm,
so you can see
mhm,
the temperature in where that stuffing part is. And then
mhm.
she talked about basting it every 30 minutes.
Right.
Probably should take that video down
I
because
agree.
the USDA does not recommend stuffing the bird. So when we talk about stuffing and dressing, stuffing goes inside the bird,
Mhm,
dressing goes in a dish on the side.
mhm,
And you might talk about it synonymously, calling it the same thing, but you
mhm.
don't put anything in the bird other than some onions and celery, maybe some apples or
Apples.
oranges, and you scrape
Mhm.
that out and you pitch it. You don't eat it. It
Nope.
just helps to flavor the inside of the bird. So you scrape it
Mhm,
out and you don't eat it. So
mhm.
I'm just going to say again, and then you can jump in on this.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
not stuff the bird. And I only based mine a couple of times.
Yes, I agree. I absolutely agree. You don't want anything other than your flavorings inside of that turkey. And that's something while we're thinking about it. When you're sprinkling all of your little seasonings on your turkey, if you're just using salt and pepper, that's fine. If you're doing something special, some type of, you could even use a rotisserie seasoning that you could sprinkle all over the turkey. Be sure to season the inside of the turkey from both ends. Don't
Yes.
assume that one end's going to catch the other end because not necessarily. So make sure that you season all of it.
Okay.
So keep that in mind.
Okay. Let's see. Uh, oh, you also don't want to keep your food out on the counter all day and night. Coming from someone who's been food poisoned at a family
Mhm,
member's Thanksgiving dinner. Yes. Don't
mhm.
leave that food out there on the counter all night. And let's talk about cross contamination while we're here.
Yes. Yeah.
So my husband was cooking. I'm glad he's downstairs. He was cooking. He was cooking something the other day. He was frying some sausage to put in a dish.
Mhm.
And I looked and he had taken a knife to slice the sausage open to take the casing off.
Mm-hmm.
and put the sausage in the pan. But he had the knife laying on the a platter or some area where he had his other tools he was using to cook with.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought there was a fork there and something else. And I thought, oh, I hope he's not using that same, item to
Mm-hmm.
stir or whatever. So I just
Right.
kind of picked everything up and threw it in the sink.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are cooking, when you are especially if you've been working with some raw meat, once you get
Mm-hmm.
those utensils in and the meat is raw, that kind of thing, while if you've got the tool in there, like the little hamburger thing that you're breaking up the
Mm-hmm.
hamburger, whatever, you're keeping it in there so it's cooking and everything. Once you
Mm-hmm.
get that done, get it in the sink.
Yes.
Don't put that particular utensil in another pot. And sometimes, you might be working on one thing and just take that utensil from here and go over here. But if you're cooking raw meat, don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Meat can really mess you up.
Hmm.
And and you're absolutely right, Cinta, in that sometimes there's salads, especially mayonnaise based salads,
Yes.
that can definitely make you sick.
Hmm.
um, it depending upon how much your turkey's funny, even though it's been cooked and it's been cooked well. You have to make sure that you get it taken care of and kind of move it on to the refrigerator quickly,
Hmm.
because bacteria can set up and
Hmm.
you will end up sick. And especially if you have an early dinner and it's 9 o'clock at night, then you just need toss, that food needs to be cleared pretty
Hmm.
quickly, to the refrigerator.
So Donna J says Peg Bundy used to wash turkey with soap. I'm thinking
Yes.
Peg Bundy, that was from Married with Children.
Yes.
Okay, I thought
Yes.
Peg Bundy, but okay. Yeah, he was kind of crazy. All right, all
That's
right.
crazy.
And then Blue Sky says she sees someone soaking greens in soapy water and triple ooh or e. I've seen people doing that, and I will admit I've even cleaned greens with some soapy water myself.
I have, if
Um,
they're really dirty,
if
if
they're
they're
really dirty, I have, but then
right.
you got to rinse and rinse and rinse and rinse
Hmm.
to make sure you get
Hmm.
all the soap off. But
Hmm.
again, what soap are you using? It's not like
Right.
bar soap or something like that. I'm going to be
Yeah.
using something that I can use on dishes and it's
Hmm.
safe to be used around people and food and that kind of thing.
Right.
I don't do that anymore because I will use vinegar and salt.
Absolutely.
And if there's anything on there, it's going to come off with that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Or even a little sprinkle of, and this is where the baking soda comes in. You can put a little baking soda in there in the water as well.
okay. And then Blue Sky says she's always washes the meat she's preparing, even if you just use lemon water to clean it. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And let's see. Good question. Blue Sky says, how can we cook for just one or two?
Well, I got a good suggestion.
Mhm.
Only because I've had to cook for such a large crew for so many years. And then once we retired and the kids were gone, it was just the two of us. And that took a learning curve to be able to go from, huge pots down to a small pot. And what I found is that I ended up purchasing small small skillets, small pans, small baking dishes, whatever it is. It's small.
Mhm.
And the reason for that is because it tricks your mind and your mind automatically thinks small. You can't put all of that in there. So whatever that
Mhm.
recipe is, you're going to have to cut it in two, or
Mhm.
do like you were talking about with your dish, where you put part of it you had for dinner, but the other part, you're going to store. And so I do the same thing. When you see me do a large pot, say of soup, then
Mhm.
I'm going to portion that out. We're going to
Mhm.
have a little bit, and the rest is going to end up in the freezer. But the main thing is being able to go to a smaller size vessel, and that will help tremendously. keeps you from wasting a lot of food and from having a lot of food sitting in your refrigerator or in your freezer.
I like that idea of smaller pies. Something else to think
Mhm.
about is this too. If you're looking at Thanksgiving dinner,
Mhm.
instead of a big turkey, you could either do a turkey breast or you could roast the
Mhm.
chicken. That will significantly cut it down. But if you feel like, no, I want turkey, then you could do a turkey breast and
Mhm.
maybe purchase a turkey leg so that you've got the white
Absolutely.
meat and the dark meat. And
Mhm.
then once you prepare the meal, um, part of that you're going to use for your leftovers so you can have a
Mhm.
couple meals for a couple of days later, or
Mhm.
change the flavor profile of the leftovers by doing something different. I've really learned about changing flavor profiles from listening to Cassandra. She's just hilarious, but she gives such
She
great
is.
information.
Yeah, and it makes sense. And you may rethink, where you would normally have. I don't know if you like light or dark meat,
Mhm.
but we buy turkey wings, and
Mm.
turkey wings has enough meat. Typically there's at least two in a package,
Mhm.
and uh, one whole turkey wing, and you're full. And
Mhm.
so that gives you an option rather than, because the leg is still pretty meaty.
And
And
the turkey breast.
yes, and the breast is pretty large. So
Mhm.
you would still have quite a bit. So, just kind of think about what part that you really like
I
and
like
go with
that
that.
idea. I like that
Mhm.
idea. Thank you. So okay, okay. Uh Journey on the Go. She's back with us. Thank you for joining us
Yay.
again. Now, ladies and gents, Sally from Covington Creek. Now, she is from my hometown. She lives right here in town. And I learned after talking with her that she was actually a student of mine at one of the local colleges where I used to teach. I actually met her a couple of weeks ago again in person, of
Oh.
all places. She was shopping and I was shopping. And Sally, I was not able to get that meal to $25. It was about $27, $28, but I think I did pretty good. But it was
Mhm.
so nice to actually run into her in Auntie.
Yay. And the perfect place. Now, Tutu likes leftover gravy for turkey pot pie. Absolutely.
Mhm,
And soup enhancement. Yes, it
mhm,
works. It definitely works. And it's nice just to take some of that leftover gravy, put it in like one of those blue ice cube trays. And
mhm.
then that way you can just drop it in, where I do the same thing with chicken gravy as well.
I hadn't thought about putting gravy in the ice cube trays. Now, when I get
Mhm,
broth, that real dark
mhm,
bouillon broth you get at the bottom
mhm,
of the turkey roaster,
mhm,
put those in ice cube trays. I
mhm.
thought about the gravy though, because that would be a
Mhm.
good flavor booster as well. Okay,
Absolutely.
Terry did the same thing you did. Now, how do you flip that turkey over without any problem?
I take two large tongs
Hmm.
and just very slowly turn him over. And it works. It works because at that point, the turkey's not totally cooked,
Hmm.
still has several hours yet to go. And then you can still flip it over and it
Okay.
doesn't fall apart.
Tutu says we don't eat the skin and
Mhm,
present the turkey at the table already sliced. So she
mhm,
doesn't worry about the
mhm,
skin. So she doesn't like to overcook the white meat. So if
mhm,
you don't um, eat the skin, then I guess you really wouldn't have to worry about that. I don't eat the skin either, but
mhm,
I like to have it on for presentation.
mhm. But
Even if I'm slicing it ahead of time, when you see
mhm,
it sliced on the plate, the skin
mhm,
just looks kind of nice, with the little slice there.
mhm. Yes, it is pretty. It is pretty. A nice tray of turkey always looks good.
Yes. Uh,
That's
yeah.
You're right. You're right. But you just can't take the chance.
Mm-mm.
And when and that goes back to that temperature thing, because so many people were trying to cook the turkey at that 165, and that portion of that turkey deep inside was not getting cooked. And
Mhm.
usually you have egg that's in that stuffing. And so, raw eggs and raw turkey just doesn't work. Doesn't
Well,
work.
and think about this. How many times have you picked up a rotisserie chicken?
Mm-hmm.
You get it home and you slice into the thigh quarter or
Mm-hmm.
like that thigh quarter, and it's pink down in there.
Yes.
Every place else is nice and it's
Mm-hmm.
cooked to get all as it should be. But that one area down there is pink. Or you get a drumstick and then you slice that meat open and then it's pink right there around the bone. So
Mm-hmm.
Miss Leona let you guys know what that temperature should be. So please let's get back. Let's make sure we do that.
175.
Ooh.
Okay.
All you can do is tell her what you know. It's like when you know better, you do better. Best
That's
practice is you
true.
don't stuff it. If she chooses to stuff it, I wouldn't eat it.
No,
I wouldn't eat the
I
stuffing.
mm-mm, mm-mm. The turkey, yes, but not the stuffing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Let's see. If the stuffing is being cooked along with the turkey, why isn't it good to use?
Now, some people take their stuffing out
Mhm.
and even after it's had a chance to be in the turkey, they'll pull all that out, put it into a dish, and then put it and bake it in the oven. So
Mhm.
it's had a chance to soak up all the good turkey juices, but they've made sure that the stuffing is done.
Mhm.
And see, that's the problem, is that, the stuffing is kind of blocking a little bit of the airflow
Right.
that the turkey needs in order to cook well. And the stuffing's not cooked well, nor is the turkey on the inside. And you don't want to overcook your turkey. So, you just
Right.
have to be careful.
So I want you guys to hear Miss Leona said that the stuffing inside the turkey, it blocks the airflow, it blocks the heat. So the heat doesn't build up
Hmm.
as as high as it needs to on the interior of the turkey. So for it to reach that internal temperature inside where the stuffing is of 175 degrees, the turkey breast may become overcooked and dry out.
That's true. That's true.
So we just don't stuff birds anymore. You really should not. So when I say we, what I mean is the USDA
Hmm.
recommends we do not stuff birds anymore because of the likelihood that the stuffing will not cook properly. So,
Hmm.
okay. Hazel was saying you could use a vegetable wash uh, to.
That's true, which is basically
Mhm.
vinegar, water, um, a vinegar water base. Okay, sometimes vinegar to clean greens. Okay.
Yeah, and baking soda. I've
Baking
done
soda
that.
too. Mhm.
Uh, So Blue Sky says she stops stuffing it because it extends the cooking time. Yeah, it
Yes, it
does.
does. Yes, it does. And when you do that, you stand the chance of that turkey getting dry.
Hmm. A roasted chicken, yeah, roasted chickens are fine, but you don't stuff them either.
Nope.
So a lady washed her greens in the bathtub. Did she have a lot of greens? I have to wonder how many did she have? 'Cause-
Probably, she probably did. And I know that sounds funny, but once you've really sanitized that bathtub, I've seen people do it,
Mhm,
and mainly because they needed the space.
mhm,
And you want to be able to wash them, you want to be able to rinse them well, make sure they have plenty of movement to get all the dirt off, because sometimes the greens that you get, they aren't like the ones that, most of the time, that you get in the grocery store where they've been
yes,
rinsed several times, so they're dirty.
mhm,
And unless you have a clean farmer, which I've had that to happen too, where they keep their greens nice and clean. So you know, don't. Let's not judge, because some people
Well,
just need that space.
and like you said, they're going to sanitize the bathtub
Mhm.
before they put those greens in there. So okay,
Absolutely. Or we
okay.
hope so.
So well, we know each other from YouTube. Yes, I think it's pretty neat too. Uh, So Cornish hens instead of a turkey for a small group of guests.
Mhm.
That's a good idea.
Oh, that's a great idea. I've
Mhm.
done that before where I've just
Yeah.
had Cornish hens,
Hmm.
especially at Christmas, something different.
Sometimes you can find a small turkey.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay.
Okay. And that's probably right, Donna Joe.
Hey, Debbie, good to have you with us
Yeah.
today. She said she never stuffed a bird, and neither did her mom. And she makes her dressing like her mom did. Uh,
Uh-huh.
Mickey Blue Skies makes dressing like our mom did. I think mine's a little different. People are talking about that bathtub. Ah. Oh, wait, what?
Oh, she said she washed the greens in the washer. Okay, okay, okay. Everybody brace yourselves. I've done that before.
In the washer?
In the washer. I washed
Really?
my washing machine out. It was only because I had several large cases of greens that I had
Okay.
to get cleaned. And so I, did all the stripping, every cutting, all of that, put them into a clean washer and put them on low speed,
Mhm.
rinse, got them nice and clean, pulled them out, re-washed the washer for the clothes, and went on about the business.
Okay. I
I
would
have
never
done
thought of
it. I
that.
have.
But then I've never had that many either.
Yeah. When you have a massive amount of greens, sometimes you have to be creative.
Yeah. And I'm like Debbie, I do mine in the kitchen sink and I clean the sink good before and after. Because
Me
I,
too.
especially when
Hmm.
I had greens that I grew myself, and you put
Hmm.
it in the sink and you put in that salt and that vinegar or the baking soda
Hmm.
and you give them a good shake, rinse, and then you put them in the other side to rinse them. And then you look in the side you took them out of and you see these little green worms in there. It's like, oh,
Oh,
yeah, they have little worms and things that are on the greens when you grow them,
yes.
little caterpillars. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you got to wash them.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
Speaking of those little creatures, I had Antoinette. I saw Antoinette. Was it Antoinette? I think
Does she have a comment up here I need to find?
no, no, no. I think it was. I can't remember who it was. One of our viewers today sent me a message saying that she had opened her flower and found a little weevil in there,
Oh,
and she was just devastated, and she wanted to know if she was going to have to throw out all of her flour. So this is a message that I sent her because it can happen to anybody. First of all, no, you don't have to throw it out, but what you will have to do is to make sure that you sift the flour well, and to get any little creatures that may be in there, and then put that in the freezer for at least 3 to 4 days, so
mhm.
that if there's any more little creatures that maybe you missed, or if there are eggs that may be in there, that they will die. And that's another reason why sifting your flour, you find a lot of people that before they use flour, they always sift. And
Mhm.
that's where it came from.
Ah,
But when you buy flour, typically what I do is to put mine into a Ziploc bag and into the freezer it goes. My husband laughs. He says, "What is the flour doing in the freezer?" And that's the reason, because it needs to stay in there a few days. So just in case there's anything that may be in there, you can get rid of it.
mhm,
So think if you're going to purchase flour, and I know back at COVID, we were buying extras of everything.
mhm,
You have to be real careful with flour. And sometimes I don't want to, throw shade, but sometimes you really have to be careful as to where you buy your flour.
mhm,
Buy the best flour that you can afford, and always buy flour in a clean grocery store.
mhm.
That's important, because sometimes it's the area around the flour that those little creatures will find their way into your flour. So just be careful.
And here's another thing too. When you're storing that flour, if you think back, like way back in the day, in the covered wagon days, I called it, they did not have the luxury to throw that flour away because it got
No.
weevils in it. Because my first thought was when she said, "Do I have to throw it out?" I would have thrown it out.
Right.
Back in those days, they did not. They did as you suggested. They would sift it to get out any creepy crawlies, and they would have to use it because it could be weeks or months
Mhm.
before the peddler came through again with flour or salt or
Mhm.
sewing needles or anything like that that they could
Mhm.
purchase. So yeah, that's
Exactly.
the thing. Now I will keep my flour in glass jars, like in mason jars.
Mhm.
And I will sometimes, if I have it in a larger container, like a food grade
Mhm.
5 gallon bucket, then I will have vacuum sealed it into smaller portions,
Mhm.
bay leaves in the bucket, that kind of thing, to try to keep weevils out. But I've had weevils get into my pantry once before, and I had to throw
Mhm.
everything away. I mean,
Yeah.
when I realized what had happened, I had to throw all the spaghetti, everything.
Mhm. Mhm.
Of food that was in there, I threw out.
Yeah.
Started afresh. So
Right.
yeah, so you want to be
So
very, very careful. So I
that's
will wipe my pantry shelves down. Like once
mhm.
I clean them out, I will wipe them down with bay leaf oil and water.
Mhm.
I try to do
Mhm.
that once every couple of months, and then I will even sprinkle the shelves with bay leaves because I don't
Mhm.
want to get. But that's what I do. But people that live in the South that has warm weather longer or all the
Mhm.
time, or people that live on islands that have warm weather all the time,
Mhm.
they have different ways that they will
Mhm.
protect their pantries from insects and stuff like that. So,
That's true. And
mhm,
you have to be careful mixing, if you're getting a new package of flour to an
mhm,
old package of flour and you're adding, always check the smell of your flour. And because if there's something wrong with the flour, it's going to smell off.
mhm.
And so when you open that container, and you want as airtight a container that you can get to store the flour in.
And yesterday when I did that live stream and I was vacuum sealing that rice, I
Mm-hmm.
had 20 pounds of rice, and I thought, I do not want to just put this rice in like a big,
Mm-hmm.
a 5 gallon bucket, because I thought
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to use it quickly enough for that
Mm-hmm.
purpose. So I vacuum sealed it into 4 cup portions so
Mm-hmm.
that I could get some out a little at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, and then I vacuum sealed it, put it in a food safe bucket with some bay leaves in the bottom. But okay, so I'm starting to chatter. Let me just see, what am I missing?
Ah,
Uh,
trash can at the register. Oh, something. There's a story here.
uh, where is it? Is it up above?
Debbie's Kitchen. She said she's talking to Cinta. There you go.
Okay.
Says she got food poisoning one Thanksgiving too. She had to work Black Friday too at 5 a.m. She was so sick that a customer yelled at the manager because he wouldn't send her home. And she said it was so busy.
Mm-hmm.
And she said she had a container at the register because she was getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
And he finally sent her home after the customer said something. And on Black Friday is crazy, and I don't, managers, they're usually short of people. And not that he was right, because I don't agree with that. If there's
No,
anything
no.
going on like that, you need to be at home. Uh,
So Cynthia says, "Do I miss my cast iron pans for the cornbread?" She enjoyed my story. He bought me another pan. He bought me another skillet. It's a 12-inch cast iron skillet. I only have the one. And yes, I do miss those other ones. I do miss those other ones. But he doesn't like for me to tell the story anymore. He's like, "Can you just get over it?" But yes. Oh,
uh,
Terry, you might have a point. I don't know.
that is true.
Yeah, everything's got all these vitamins and
That's true.
antibiotics, and yeah, the food was a little different back in the day. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
still, it's not because of the poultry is different for this
Mm-hmm.
particular reason. It's because of the internal temperature and the cook.
Exactly.
That's the concern there.
Mhm.
Um. Oh, okay. Debbie's responding to the Black
Mhm.
Friday thing. Do you want me to tell the story again?
Yeah, you might as well tell it again.
So, okay, so a few years ago, I got a new stove, and it has a glass cooktop. And I had investigated which kind of pots I could use on top of the stove so I didn't scratch it up. And I learned that cast iron skillets was one of the things I couldn't use because it would scratch up the cooktop. Not to mention when he's cooking, he's just moving the pan back and forth, that kind of thing. He's not being careful to lift it up and make sure he's, that kind of thing. So I said, babe, we can't use the cast iron skillets on the stove anymore. And I had bought some new pots and pans, and I had put the cast iron skillets out in the garage on a shelf, meaning to use them when I was going to bake or something.
Mhm.
Girl, I come home one day and he said, "Oh," he said, I gave the cast iron skillets away. He said, I was out putting out the trash and I was sitting them on top of the trash can. And a lady came driving down the street and saw me putting them up there. And she said, "Are you throwing those away?" And he said, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, can I have them?" And he said, "Sure." Three of them. I had it was a 10-inch cast iron skillet, a, a chicken fryer, and it was another one that was somewhere in between. Three of them. He said, "Well, she was really glad to get them." I said, "I bet she was." I was like, "What were you thinking?" He said, "Well, you said we couldn't use them to cook with anymore." I said, "On the stove top. I plan to use them in the oven." I was so outdone. I tell you what, I must have yelled at him and got on him from time to time. And finally, he went and bought me this new 12-inch cast iron skillet and said, "Now, fine, can you get over it?" So that's the story about my cast iron skillet. So, Lynn, you'll probably get a good laugh because you probably remember those skillets, but they're not there anymore.
Oh, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Debbie says her parents use cast iron. A lot of people put cornbread in cast iron skillet. It
Mhm.
just cooks it well.
Makes the
So Donna's
best.
like, "Oh, yeah, oh, girl,
Oh,
Debbie, I bet you I went on for a good year. I don't talk about it anymore in his hearing because he was like, okay, here's the skillet." Like he's like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry." So, so I don't mention it to him anymore, but every now and then I will vent to all of you because I know you will understand.
yes, because we understand. We
Yes,
understand.
you guys can understand.
Precious, absolutely precious.
Yes. Okay, we better get back to our notes now. So we
All
have
right.
some. So, oh, this is a good one, and you're good for this one, Leona. Where it
Okay.
says, how can I time everything so that it's ready together? And you're really good at that.
Okay. Well, of course, my suggestion is now sometimes you're going to, I would say, start the day putting your turkey in, unless you're going to cook it overnight.
Mhm.
Then start that turkey. That's what I did. I started at about 7 in the morning, so it would be ready for dinner, and it
Mhm.
would have about an hour to sit and rest, and then you cut. But while that turkey is in the oven, then that gives you a chance to put all of your sides together. And once the turkey comes out, then that's the time to get the sides in,
Mhm.
and everything can bake. Typically, desserts, do those the day before so that they don't need to be in the oven
Mhm.
and at all. And your last 30 minutes is going to be devoted to warming up your rolls if you made rolls. And even if you did make rolls and you're just taking the Hawaiian rolls out of the
Right.
pack, you want to put them in some foil, butter them up, put them into the oven long enough to get warm, and have them ready to come out to serve. So start with the turkey, get him taken care of, have everything ready to go into your all of your sides ready. And most of the sides you can actually put together, and even if you don't cook them, you can have them in the refrigerator ready to go. So when
Mhm.
the time comes, it's just a matter of putting them into the oven and letting them bake. And then that way, your day moves about a lot smoother. I know we like to eat around 4. And so, really, to be honest with you, by 12 o'clock, I want everything done. And
Yes.
so I typically start my turkey very, of course, now, I'm using the roaster now. So it's kind of it's not tying up the oven. But if I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't using the roaster and still using the oven, then about 5 o'clock in the morning, the turkey's going to go in, so that I have plenty of time to be able to get the sides in, and I can bring them out just in time so they're nice and bubbly and ready to go.
I saw a commercial, I don't know if it was on YouTube or TV, where a lady was talking about she saw how chefs will have everything warm on the table, and there
Mhm.
was some kind of little mats or something that you sit the food on, and that the mats have some kind of warmth that keeps the food warm. I've not seen them in the store. I just saw the commercial. I thought, oh, I need to try to look into that.
They
Might
do.
be something worth having.
It is. It is. I used to have some that, you get your dishes hot, you could just sit it right there, and they would stay nice and warm. In fact, through the serving of dinner, it was really nice. You would actually put them into the microwave to warm them up and then bring them out and sit them on the counter, and they don't damage your counter. And so, probably Amazon has them, but I haven't looked for them recently.
I haven't either. I'm gonna have to look for those. And then Antoinette has a question for you.
Antoinette, can you bake the rolls on a cookie sheet? Okay. I'm going to say, rather than a cookie sheet, how about several 9 by 13 pans? If you have one of those, the problem with the cookie sheet is that the rolls are not going to rise as high. And the
Mm,
reason for that, they need the sides of the pan to support the rising of the rolls. So the 9 by 13 is going to allow it to do it. You can use glass. You can use the little the square ones. Sometimes
mhm,
I have 3 or 4 different sizes of dishes, but they all have at least a 3-inch side to them, so the
mhm.
rolls can come up.
Okay. And then let's see.
Sim-
Uh
yeah.
Cynthia says, have we ever made cranberry sauce? And yes, we both have. We both have videos
Mhm,
where we've done that. And
mhm,
cranberry sauce is very, very easy to make. And I
mhm,
always encourage young homemakers. If people say, well, what can you bring? You can say, I can bring the homemade cranberry sauce, and just practice it, make it so
mhm.
that you get good at it. And then, you can always bring that. And of course, you can learn to make something else as well, but just to get started. And I think we both have videos that show you
Mhm.
us making that. Did you
In
want to add
fact, I
anything?
did it last week.
Hmm.
I made it last week, and it's so easy to do. Yes, and Ronnie's asking about chafing pans. Yes, I've used those to keep the food warm as well, and I use those all the time at church, and they work. They're very nice. My only problem is I don't like the smell
Of
of
that little fire
the
thing.
little what do you
I
call
don't know what they're called.
I, butane, the little
Yes.
butane, whatever they are, and I don't like the smell of them. So because of that, I typically, I have used the chafing pans, taken one pan because it's different levels.
Hmm.
First pan, put boiling hot water in the lowest level,
Hmm.
and then sit the next pan on top, and it keeps it pretty warm. Hmm.
Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Let's see. How do I make smooth lump-free gravy? Now, I don't think that's too difficult to do. For me, the easiest thing to do is once you're going to have equal parts butter or equal parts oil and flour, and
Hmm.
you're going to add a cup of liquid to the each part oil and flour. So if you have 1 tablespoon of butter, one tablespoon of butter or oil, 1 tablespoon of flour, and then you're gonna mix that up with a whisk that you can put in a skillet, and then add 1 cup of liquid, which is typically going to be either chicken broth or water, and
Hmm.
stir continuously while you're pouring that in. It's
Hmm.
when you add the liquid to the butter and then you kind of throw that flour in on top that you get all those lumps.
Right.
Put the oil in first, and then
Mhm,
add your flour and keep stirring while you're adding the flour. And then you add your cup of liquid, and then you keep stirring for that.
mhm.
And that's your um, uh,
That's the roux.
Yeah, right. That's the amounts that you want to use. You know, 1 tablespoon of oil, 1 tablespoon of flour, and 1 cup of broth or liquid is
Mhm.
the base. And then you build on that. So if you want more gravy, then you make twice the amount or 3 times the amount. But if you do get some lumps in it, I got the most wonderful gift from my kids one year for Christmas, and it was an immersion blender. I
Mhm.
was like, where has this been all my life? Now,
I
I
know.
saw all kind of YouTube folks using the immersion blender. I didn't think a thing about it. And my kids asked Mickey Blue Skies, well, what should we get Denise for Christmas? You said, get her an immersion blender.
Mhm.
Love it. You just put that little immersion blender in there and you can put it in the pan that you're cooking in and
Mhm.
shoot, shoot, shoot. And you got gravy that is perfectly smooth.
Absolutely. Unless and if you have toasted flour, oven toasted flour, then you can sprinkle your oven toasted flour in and you will not get any lumps, because what you're doing with the roux is that you're cooking the flour
Mm-hmm.
and you're cooking that flavor out, and that's what you're doing when you oven roast the flour. You're taking cooking the flour out, so when you put it into your gravy, it connects with the with the oil or the butter that's in there, and it makes a very nice smooth gravy.
Now you talked about that toasted flour one other time. I think it
Mhm.
was on one of your videos, and
Yep,
I
I've got
missed.
a video
And I was like,
showing
"What
you.
does she mean toasted flour?" I had not
Mhm.
heard of that. So can you explain that? Because I'm sure there's some other people thinking toasted flour. The first time you said that, I was like, well, "What you talking about, Willis?"
Well, I usually take about 2 cups of flour and put it on parchment, put it in the oven, and put it in and let it toast. It's going to get kind of a light brown, very light brown. And you'll stir it up, and so that all the flour can get well toasted, kind of golden, not golden, but light brown. And so you'll take that out, let it cool, and put it into a jar. Once you seal it, you're going to keep it in your refrigerator. So the
Mm.
toasted flour, like the other night, I made gravy with a steak and some mushrooms, and I just took some tablespoon out, sprinkled it into the pan where the mushrooms were, and it just made the nicest gravy so fast. And I didn't have to do a lot of stirring. I didn't
Oh.
have to wait for it to cook. It was already cooked, so it goes right in. Hmm.
Okay, toasted flour. I'm going to definitely try that because I that's something that's new to me. And guys, I want you to know I've learned a lot from Miss Leona. So even though I am a well-seasoned cook, because as you can tell, I've had a lot of Thanksgiving dinners under my belt, I learn something new all the time. So just like I'm learning something new, hopefully we are sharing some new tips with you guys as well. So now you just keep that toasted flour in the fridge.
Yes, I keep it in a ball jar in the fridge.
Okay, I'm gonna try it.
Mhm.
I'm gonna try
Absolutely.
it. Let's see if we got another question.
Terry has one.
Uh, oh, there it is.
Hmm.
Breakfast casseroles for the morning and afternoon before dinner. Yes.
Ah, oh, that's a good idea.
What?
Using do we to use the breakfast casseroles for either in the morning or the afternoon before the dinner to prepare a casserole, a breakfast casserole. And sometimes I do prepare a breakfast casserole,
Hmm.
and I get it out of the way before everybody gets up. So it's already made. It's been in the oven. It comes out. I either do that or cinnamon rolls or something like
Hmm.
that. So they can nibble and do whatever, and I can finish doing what I need to do in the kitchen. So
My
yeah.
daughter does that quite a bit too. She likes to make a
Mhm.
breakfast casserole for the morning of, and then
Mhm.
once that's done, it's like, okay, get out the kitchen.
That's
So now
right.
it's like
That's
we,
right.
we got work to do, so y'all need to get out of here.
Absolutely.
So now Linda says,
Ah.
wait a minute, let me find it. My computer is acting up. As baby powder for diaper rash.
Oh.
I did not know of that.
I
Nancy,
didn't either.
yeah, I knew you meant diaper rash when I saw it.
Definitely. Yes.
Wonder flower.
Wonder flour. I have a
You still have
container in. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that? Okay,
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't.
it makes a beautiful gravy and quick. Now I used Wonder before I knew about the oven, toasting the oven.
Oh, sternal things.
Turn those, yes.
Those little sternal stoves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see.
Uh,
And that is so funny. We had lump free gravy on our list of things to address, and then somebody asked because we tried to get like the top 10 or 15 questions that people ask, and so far we've addressed those.
yeah.
So, how can I make the table look special without stressing? And I think that's a good one
It
to
is.
um, to talk about because this past Thanksgiving, which for us was like about 10 days ago,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't as prepared with my Thanksgiving decorations for the table and stuff. So my two sisters that went on today, Lynn, and then my other sister, Labina, they were helping to get the decor out. And I was wanting to be more elaborate. And then
Mm-hmm.
I thought, nope, they're doing it. Just let them do it. And what they did was perfect because it was just enough. We didn't need a whole lot. It was just enough to make it look festive. And it was just nice. And you don't have to have a whole lot.
Mm-hmm. That's true. You're absolutely right. And sometimes when you have a lot of decor on the table, it really gets in the way. And I
Mhm.
find myself moving things because, they've gotten out of the way at the last minute. And so I'm trying to minimalize.
Yes.
I'm not good at when it comes to decor. I want it a certain way.
Yes.
But it definitely works. It definitely works.
Well, and the other thing too is if you ask someone else to do something, let them do
Mhm.
it. And
That's
don't
right.
make yeah, let them
That's
do
right.
it. And it turned out beautifully. And have you
Mhm.
ever been to a wedding or to an event when you're trying to talk to the person across the table and the centerpiece is so big or tall you can't even see them?
Can't see.
So
I'm
yes,
I'm guilty. I have done that before, and then I've had to move it because it was
but
getting
we're
in the
becoming
way.
more minimal.
Yes, yes. I'm taking all of that into consideration.
Okay, okay. So how can I manage if I've got limited oven space?
Let's see. Well, limited oven space. Now, see, that kind of goes back to this is where if you have crock pots, utilize your crock pots. You can actually cook your macaroni in a crock pot. It's just a matter of rubbing it down in butter, putting your macaroni with the sauce into the crock pot, and allowing it to slow cook. You can do that. You can also really cook your dressing in a
Mhm.
crock pot as well.
Yes, you
And
can.
you can do that. So crock pots are very versatile. I am a fan of using my rice cooker. I did my green beans in the rice cooker, and that freed up some space for the crock pot. I was able to do something else in the crock pot. And so those were things that didn't have to go into the oven. So if you have limited oven space, then certainly you may want to cook that turkey early.
Or even the day before.
That's right. And then just, have your dishes already prepared. And then it's just a matter of warming them up
Hmm.
on Thanksgiving.
One other question was, how do I keep dishes warm if guests arrive late? Now, if guests arrive late, I will admit that for myself, if you come late, I'm not going to be as concerned about you as if you come on time.
Mhm,
If
mhm.
dinner's at 4 o'clock and you show up at 5:30 or 6 o'clock, you get what you get. I'm
Well,
sorry.
and introduce them to the microwave.
Yes.
And don't feel bad about it. You
Mm-mm.
just say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You're late," and let, just warm up in the microwave because you do not want to try to keep all of that food warm or hot
Mm-mm.
for that long. You want to be able to serve the group and then go from there. So actually, the person who comes in that late, unless something has been an emergency or they have contacted you early to let you know they're going to be late, then
You get what you get.
we talked a little bit about that last week. They have to respect the fact that when you say dinner's at 4 o'clock, dinner's at 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they want hot food, they need to be there at 4 o'clock, ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so now this is a quick question, and we already got the answer for this question on Saturday, but what can you make with leftovers? And there's so many things, and a couple of things have already come up. Turkey soup, turkey pot pie, and somebody said something else. I forget. But
I don't know. I didn't make a list, but there are tons of things that you can make. You can make tacos. You can make turkey chili. You can
well, turkey noodle soup,
turkey noodle soup, turkey sandwiches,
turkey and dumplings.
Yes, yes. And so the list just goes on. Anywhere that you would use chicken,
yes,
you swap it out for turkey.
For turkey. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then how do I stretch leftovers into another dish? Well, stick around on Saturday. We have some ideas for you. And now here's a big one. How, it refers to the cleanup. So trying to get shortcuts for cleanups after the guests leave. And then how do I reset my kitchen the next morning? Now, last week, my sister Lynn, her very last comment, and probably the rest of you guys didn't see it, said you could have help in the kitchen if you would let people help you clean up. So now here's the backstory. He was getting ready to start washing and getting the dishes and stuff all squared away. And we were all still sitting at the table eating. And I said, come and sit down and just join us. Just relax and spend time with us. And then we can get to the dishes. Well, by the time we sat there and chatted and laughed for a while, and we really enjoyed ourselves. And it was just so nice, Leona. It was time for everyone to go. And so everybody got up and left, which meant I was left with the kitchen and the dishes. And Bruce guys called and she said, now I'll come over in the morning to help you with the kitchen. Just leave it. Don't worry about it. And so what I did was I just, scraped all the plates and I had a new dishwasher. So we didn't use like regular plates. We used some really pretty plates that one of my sisters had brought over. But I, scraped all the other, like the casserole dishes and all that stuff that I needed to do. Stuff that was going to remain in the casserole dish, I covered it, put it in the fridge. But pots and pans and whatever, I just kind of stacked them up on the sink. When I put in the dishwasher, I did. Washed the sink out, cleaned the table off, got the counters cleaned off, and everything stacked on one side. And I went to bed. Got up the next morning at 7 to feed the cat. And then once I did that, I just started working my way through what was there. Took time, unloaded the dishwasher, and my new dishwasher works beautifully. It actually washes pots. And I never tried that. I know it happened, but I never put pots in the dishwasher before. And I was one of those people that would wash their dishes before they washed their dishes.
Yes.
Well, I don't do that so much anymore. If you're going to run the dishwasher right after you load it, I just scrape them, load, and run it. But if I'm going to take a couple of days, then I might run pretty good. But I've been running it just about every day. But that's one way to do it. And then just take your time. Just don't let yourself feel overwhelmed.
That's true. And one thing to keep in mind is that when you're cooking, clean as you go. That's a big thing. So that when it's time for dinner, anything that you use for the preparation, all that's already cleaned and pretty much put away. And so the only thing you really have out, like if you're serving buffet or whatever, then those are the things that are going to be, soiled. So, it makes it a lot easier. And, so many of the plates, especially the really, really nice plates, of course, you can't put them into the dishwasher. And so I tend to run a really, really hot sink full of hot water. So as we finish, I just slide those right into the hot water. And, if I get to it that night, fine. But by the time I get ready to actually wash them, then, even if it's the next morning, then whatever it is comes off very easily. And, now we have that spray Dawn that you can put That stuff is a game changer because you
Yes.
can put that on your pots and pans, and no matter when you get ready to wash it, all the stuff will come off.
Hmm.
That's a great product.
It is. I love it. I think every house should have at least one bottle of that Dawn.
I agree.
Okay, well, I'm just going to say, just right now, as I'm thinking about it, we have really talked quite a bit. We've answered quite a few questions in regards to questions that you might have in your last minute Q&A to get ready for the holiday. So I'm hoping that this episode will help you head into the Thanksgiving holiday
Mhm.
feeling less stressful and really feeling confident that you can do what you need to do to prepare for the holiday. And remember, it's not about perfection, it's about purpose. It's about how you make your people feel, because that's what they're going to remember is how
Mhm.
they felt, not how pretty the table was or this or that, even though we ate a lot of desserts on Thanksgiving Day, that was 10 days ago. But they're going to remember how they made you feel.
Mhm.
And if anything we said sparked how to make your planning easier, drop us a comment and let us know about that as well. And
Mhm.
then let me just remind you guys that if you would like to carry this sense of purpose into your pantry, I've got a course called Yes You Can, a beginner's guide to water bath canning that can help you learn to do water bath canning and make your own jams and jellies and sauces and things like that. And the links in the description box below. And then, of course, don't forget to check out Miss Leona's sourdough series. She is the sourdough queen,
Mhm.
and there will be things that you can learn from her in that regard. So she's got a guide for you if you're from the starter,
Yes.
to that you've been more seasoned in regards to that. Be sure to check her out. So, Miss Nella, do you have anything else?
Well, and one more thing, I know some of you have already gone there, but if you look in the description box, there's a link to my Etsy store. And in the Etsy store, there is a holiday time guide that's in there that has lots of recipes and ideas for both. It doesn't matter what the holiday is, whether it's Christmas, whether it's Thanksgiving, whether it's New Year's, whatever it is, but it will also give you lots of tips as well as recipes that I think you'll enjoy. Also, there you'll see the guide as well for sourdough,
Mm,
becoming a master of sourdough. And
sourdough queen.
you're not gonna let the sourdough master you. You're gonna master it. And so, but you do have to be patient with it. But the guide is there, and so definitely that's a place where you might want to go. And I also sent out last week a newsletter
A
to those who
newsletter.
are part of the newsletter crew that had the Thanksgiving timeline. I've gotten a lot of response from that. If you did not receive it, please make sure that you shoot an email to me. It's all that's down in the description. And that way I can add you to the distribution list. I've got several people tonight who I'm going to be adding. So if you want to be a part of that list tonight, then certainly shoot that email over to the Mrs. Dooley at gmail.com, and I'll be happy to add you to the list so that you can get that as well, because it is quite helpful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. And there was something else I was going to say about that. And just that quick, I've forgotten what it was. Oh, I know. Audrey is the one that made me reminded me of this. She says, "Thank you for the uplifting comment. New
Oh.
subscriber here." So let me just remind you guys that we are actually two channels. I
Mm-hmm.
am Denise at Homemaking with Denise, and this is Miss Leona at Ebony, Ivy, and Time. So we are actually two different channels. And remember, guys, for one while there, Miss Leona was on her way to 5K. Well, she made her way to 5K. So now we are on our way to 10K. So
10K.
yeah, so we're working on that, but we're actually two channels. So if you have not joined both of our families, please do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're going to look forward to this weekend using those leftovers. It's going to be a lot of fun. So,
Mhm.
Tune in.
That's right. So from our house to yours. Oh wait, Miss Leona, I just bought your guide for sourdough baking.
Oh,
And
Kim,
please
thank
hope next
you.
year I'll be ready for small batch water bath canning. Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes.
Yes. All right. So from our house to yours, guys, let's get ready for Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you guys next week.
All right. Have a
Bye.
great week.